What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to properly caulk an RV. I see a lot of garbage videos out there, so I thought I'd do one of my own. You can see here is a standard rail on a camper, and that is putty oozing out of the rail, and we're going to be recaulking this because it's leaking like a sieve inside. So this isn't a 15-minute job. This takes many hours of prep. So we go over here. You can see Big Bear Josh. He is currently cutting the caulking out. You have to cut this in at like a 45-degree angle to do it right. Let me show you. This is one of the sides that I've been working on, and you're going to sit here with a putty knife and you're going to cut that in at like a little bit of an angle and then just slowly work it out, because you can't have putty oozing out, because then your caulk won't be able to fill this gap right here. So that's step one. It's prep. So we're going to go around every single corner, cut that putty out at just a slight angle so the caulk has like a groove to grab into. Then we're going to come back, clean it, and then I'll show you how to caulk it correctly. Just to give you an idea of how tedious this is, I'm going to do a very small section right here, and then I'll go over like a finished rail. But come up and try to avoid scratching the rail if possible. And this is very, very tedious. And this is just step one. Keep in mind, we still have to clean this. Let me just skip over the other side that I already prepped, just to give you an idea of what I'm going for. So this is one where I've cut in the rail completely. I mean, there's 4 corner rails and there's 2 sides on each one. So you can just imagine it took me about 20 minutes to get this one prepped. Okay, so about 10 minutes later, I have finally cut the caulk in the whole way down. And we're gonna call this the deburrment phase. So if you zoom in right here, you can see there's like little putty balls and whatnot. When you run your caulk gun down there, it gets hung up on them and messes up your line. So this is about as stiff as a brush as you can go to without scratching the siding, and always test it on a small area. If you're scratching the siding, get something less stiff. But I'm just gonna work that in there with it still dry. I don't have any cleaner or anything on it yet. And that's just gonna get some of that putty out of those cracks. I won't do the whole rail because we'll be here for 10 minutes and I'm doing it with one hand. So then the next thing is you want to get a degreaser. You could use Dawn dish soap with a little bit of water. I'm going to use this stuff. It's called Reliable. It's a super awesome cleaner. I don't want to get the rail soaked because then I got to wait an hour for it to dry. So I'm just going to put it on a rag, make it damp, and then I'm just going to clean the whole area that I intend on caulking. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes. We are ready to caulk this. Here's the finished product. It's all cleaned and ready to go. This is my favorite caulk. It's called Quad Max. It's actually for houses. You can get it at Home Depot and stuff. I do have ProFlex, which is a specialized RV caulk, but this stuff, in my opinion, actually works better. It lasts about 10 years and it gets a really good bond. You want your surface to be bone dry. Like, you don't want any water, any residue from your cleaner left on there. So you're gonna go through and wipe all that down with a clean paper towel. And I'm just gonna do a small 3-foot section here. What's important on the tip of your gun, you want a very small hole. Quad has a pre-punched hole. I make it slightly bigger at an angle. I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna run a line. And you'll see right here, this is Dawn dish soap mixed with a little bit of water. You're gonna see what that does in a second. So I'm gonna hand the camera off. And cut our tip. Very fine tip, really fine, like that. No bigger than that. Now there's ridges and there's valleys. I'm going to be squeezing a little bit harder when I'm in the valley and then ease up on the gun when I'm on the ridge. And Quad's very forgiving, so I don't have to make this perfect, but we're going to try to make it look as nice as possible before I run my finger across it. Nice and slow. I want to kind of push it into the crack as much as possible. And anywhere I mess up, like I said, it's a very forgiving caulk, and I'm going to be coming back with my finger. If you don't go heavy enough, wait till the stuff cures in a couple hours and just go over it again. You don't want to attempt to do it while it's still tacky. It'll look really sloppy. So anything that I miss, I'm going to be coming back on later. Like right there, I'll probably have to come back like that a little bit thicker. And I want to try to get this in that ridge as much as possible. And you'll see if you do this properly, you can clean it really easy. Nice thin bead, I'm not globbing it on. That's gonna need a lot of cleaning. Kind of rushing for the camera here. All right, so this is the next step. This is that Dawn dish soap. You do not want to spray it on the caulk. You actually want to spray it just on your finger, and you want to have a clean paper towel in the other hand. So I'm right-handed. I'm gonna do my right hand. Get it nice on there, that way the caulk doesn't stick to you. And just push it right into that crack. Like I said, if I don't completely fill it, I'm gonna come back later and do a second run. We're just gonna work this in real nice. You can see how smooth the line looks. If you don't have the soap on your finger, it does not work like that. Right there, I'll probably have to come back and hit that a little bit better. And if you do get soap where you're trying to get the caulk to stick, it won't stick. So you only want to push the soap onto the surface and push the caulk in. And you'll see how forgiving this stuff is in a second when I come back over it. All right, so now let's address all these areas where I went out too wide. Take a paper towel, knot it up, make a straight line, and I'm just pushing. And there's enough soap residue on here that it's preventing it from tacking up. Very easy caulk to work with, and when this stuff sets, it bonds really well. All right, so in the front here, I'm going to be putting this stuff on a little bit cleaner. I kind of did it sloppy in the first part to just show you how forgiving the caulk was, but if you're a little bit better with the caulk gun, have a little bit more control. The reason you cut this angle on the tip is because you can really use the gun to push it in. So you see the gun's going to be doing a lot of the work here, and it'll be a much cleaner result than the first one you just seen me do. And I'm really gonna try to fill these valleys. I'm using a lot. I don't want to come back over this. I'm gonna try to do this one in one coat. It's not a speed race, nice and slow. And if the tip of your gun gets dirty, like if you get caulk on the tip, you have to come back and clean your tip. Like see, like right there, when you get your tip dirty, how it just drags, you can't have that. You gotta keep this nice and clean, and you'll get a much straighter line. A lot of people use too much caulk and then they wonder why it gets all over the place here. With a clean tip, how straight the line is. Real thin on the ridge, and then we got to go thicker back into the valley to really fill it. The tip's getting dirty, but there, it cleaned itself up. All right, now this one, because I did it a little bit cleaner and went a little bit slower, it'll be a lot less cleanup work. Right there, you see, looks a little bit straighter. There's still some areas in here you're going to want to push it in a little bit more. Very forgiving caulk. There. So this is the finished product. Let me just go to the side, show you how thin that actually is. See how thin it is? What's important is each valley's filled. Roll over to the other side. And you can even go over this like with one thin bead and make it look even smoother. You just want to get all the soap residue off of it before you do it and let it dry. See how thin it is again? See, from the side you can't see it. Okay, so all the rails are done, but this particular corner right here, which I've already caulked, this is the one that was leaking, so we're gonna give it a little bit of extra special attention. I'm gonna remove the pinch molding, which I already started to remove, and we're gonna take all these screw heads out. I'm gonna shoot caulk into these screw holes and then run the screws back in. The wood's probably semi-rotted, so I'm not really gonna try to draw it in. I'm just gonna try to get them to grip without stripping them and just caulk them so no further damage happens. Otherwise, we'll be ripping this whole front end off to redo this whole camper. So as I thought, the screws were kind of stripped out. Like the wood's pretty much gone in here, but I'm gonna try to put as much caulk back in behind the rail as possible. And run the screws back in. Sorry if it looks sloppy, I'm doing it with one hand. That's an active leaker there. Water's actually coming out of it. I mean, it won't leak now, but it was. I'm just pumping the gun to squeeze as much caulk as possible into that wood. Alright, so everything's done. The other video was kind of zoomed in, so it looked thicker than what it really is. Some weird shadowing going on. And no joke, that took about 4 or 5 hours to do. This wasn't quick. And this only addressed the corner rails. You still have to do all the lap seals on the roof. You do not use this caulk on the roof. The roof on this is EDPM rubber. You want to use a lap sealant. Dyco makes it. Don't want to use the stuff I was using on the roof. It has certain solvents in it that over time might actually eat the rubber.